The news broke out in the middle of the night that a few blurry photos appeared online. Taehyung Jungkook and Bang PD walking through Incheon Airport, dressed in casual clothes, faces half covered, trying not to attract attention. But even behind masks and caps, ARMY recognized them instantly. Within minutes, the internet exploded. Why LA? Why now? And why together? The questions flooded every platform. Fans from all around the world stayed awake, tracking flights, analyzing every detail, from the clothes they wore, to the bodyguards surrounding them, even the direction they were heading inside the terminal. Something was different about this trip. It wasn't like their usual schedule. It wasn't announced. It wasn't on any calendar. A few insiders claimed this wasn't just a casual overseas trip. It was something planned in complete secrecy. HYBE hadn't said a word. There was no official schedule, no statement. But somehow the energy felt tense, and fans could sense why the time the plane landed in Los Angeles, rumors were already spiraling out of control. Some said it was for a secret project involving a global collaboration. Others believed it had something to do with an upcoming reunion, a long-awaited moment ARMY had been praying for. But then came the twist. Reporters in LA spotted black vans arriving at a private studio in Beverly Hills, the same location where several world-famous producers had been seen earlier that week. And among those producers, one name stood out, a name directly connected to BTS's international success. Whatever was happening, it wasn't small. And if Taehyung Jungkook and Bang PD were all in LA together, this could mean only one thing: something huge was being prepared, and the world was about to find out. The sun had barely risen over Los Angeles when the first fans started gathering outside the rumored studio, and no one knew for sure if Taehyung and Jungkook were really there. But the atmosphere was electric, filled with hope, anxiety, and a touch of disbelief. Every black car that passed made hearts race faster. Every shadow behind a tinted window could be them. Inside, things were silent. The studio was completely sealed off, guarded by security that HYBE had clearly flown in from Korea. Reporters tried to sneak photos, but the curtains stayed closed. Even the local staff were instructed not to speak a word. But leaks have a way of escaping. A small post appeared on an anonymous fan account. They're recording something. It's not just a meeting. I heard music. Within minutes, that single message spread like wildfire. Are Taehyung and Jungkook working on a new duet? Is Bang PD producing a secret BTS subunit? Or is this the start of something even bigger? Meanwhile, across the city, fans spotted another familiar face. A Grammy-winning American producer who had previously collaborated with BTS. He was seen entering the same building later that day, carrying a USB drive and laptop case. That sight alone sent social media into a frenzy. Theories started stacking up. Some said it was for a Netflix documentary. Others believed HYBE was planning a surprise global project, something that could redefine BTS's next era. But among all the chaos, there was one quiet detail that few noticed. A small handwritten note was seen tucked inside Taehyung's journal. A fan caught a glimpse of it in a leaked airport photo. The words were simple yet haunting. It's time to start again. That single sentence changed everything. It wasn't just a trip. It wasn't just a secret project. It was a new beginning. The studio walls were soundproof, thick, heavy, and designed to keep every secret locked inside. No one outside could hear what was happening. But inside, the air was thick with anticipation. Jungkook sat near the microphone, headphones around his neck, tapping his fingers nervously on the table. Across the glass, Taehyung stood quietly, reading through lyrics on a small piece of paper. Bang PD watched them both from behind the control panel, silent, focused, and uncharacteristically serious. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Taehyung broke the silence. "It's been a while, hasn't it?" he said softly, his voice calm yet heavy. Jungkook nodded, smiling faintly. "Yeah, too long." The two exchanged a look. One filled with history, memories, and the weight of everything they'd been through. This wasn't just another recording session. It was personal. The first notes of the track began to play, slow piano chords that carried both warmth and sorrow. Taehyung closed his eyes and began to sing, his voice deep and emotional, filling the room with that unmistakable tone ARMY had missed for so long. Then Jungkook joined in, smooth, powerful, perfectly blending with Taehyung's lower range. It was magic. Pure, effortless magic. Bang PD's expression softened. He didn't interrupt, didn't adjust a thing. He just listened because he knew this moment wasn't about production. It was about connection. When the final note faded, there was silence again. Taehyung looked at Jungkook, his eyes glistening slightly. "Do you think they'll understand what we're trying to say?" Jungkook smiled gently. "They always do." Outside, the sun dipped below the horizon. The day had turned into night, but inside that studio, something beautiful had been reborn. And somewhere deep within HYBE's headquarters, a new file was being uploaded, encrypted, unnamed, and labeled only as Project VJK Phase 1. It started with a whisper, a single anonymous post on a fan forum at 2:47 a.m. Someone just heard Taehyung and Jungkook's voices in a private LA studio. It's real. Something's coming. First, no one believed it. ARMY had seen thousands of rumors come and go. But then a short 10-second audio clip surfaced online. Faint, distant but unmistakable. Two voices harmonizing perfectly, one deep and soulful, the other smooth and bright. Within minutes, the internet exploded. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Reddit. Every platform flooded with theories, translations, and slowed-down edits of the leaked sound. Fans analyzed every second, comparing breathing patterns, vocal tone, even reverb echoes. And the conclusion was unanimous: it was them. The clip spread like wildfire before HYBE's legal team could react. Posts were deleted, accounts suspended, but it was too late. The world had already heard enough. The hashtags began trending globally within hours. Hashtag VJK Project, hashtag something huge is coming, hashtag Taehyung Jungkook. And inside the studio, Jungkook scrolled through his phone, his expression tightening as he saw the chaos online. "They already found out," he muttered. Taehyung leaned closer, half smiling. "They always do." Bang PD sighed, setting his tablet aside. "It's out sooner than we planned. But maybe this isn't a bad thing." The room fell silent again. For the first time, the secret wasn't theirs alone. It belonged to millions of fans across the world. Piecing together the truth one clue at a time. BY morning. News outlets had already picked it up. BTS members Taehyung and Jungkook reportedly working on secret project in LA with Bang Si-hyuk. HYBE declines to comment on ongoing rumors. But the damage, or perhaps the miracle, had already been done. ARMY's anticipation was unstoppable. The countdown had unofficially begun, and somewhere in the HYBE offices, the message Phase 2 confirmed flashed across Bang PD's private monitor. It was just past midnight in Seoul when HYBE's official YouTube channel suddenly uploaded a black screen video titled Coming Soon VJK. No description, no hashtags. Just 30 seconds of silence, and then a single piano note. The screen flickered, one flash of light, and then came a voice, soft, deep, familiar. "Every ending is just another beginning." It was Taehyung. A faint breath followed. And then Jungkook's voice joined in. "We've waited long enough." The video ended there, no logo. No date. Just the faint sound of a heartbeat before the screen went black again. Fans lost control. Within 10 minutes, VJK was trending #1 worldwide. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. TikTok edits filled the For You page. And ARMY across the globe stayed up all night, replaying the clip, trying to decode every sound, every whisper, every shadow in the background. But something else caught attention: the heartbeat at the end. When slowed down, fans discovered it matched the rhythm from BTS's early Young Forever concept, sparking wild theories that this project was a symbolic rebirth. Meanwhile, inside the Los Angeles studio, Taehyung and Jungkook sat side by side, quietly watching the world react in real time. Their phones kept lighting up. Texts, mentions, notifications, thousands per second. "They're excited," Jungkook said, smiling faintly. Taehyung nodded. "They've been waiting for this. Maybe longer than we have." Bang PD entered the room, calm as ever, but with a hint of satisfaction in his eyes. "The timing was perfect," he said. "Now we move to the next step." He turned his tablet toward them, revealing the title of the next file in the project folder. VJK Phase 2. The Promise. Outside, the world was buzzing with excitement, confusion, and hope. Inside, 3 men were quietly preparing something that would shake the entire music industry once again. Because this wasn't just a collaboration, it was a message, to ARMY, to themselves, and to the world. Something was returning, something beautiful. And it was only the beginning. The next morning, the world hadn't slept. ARMY was still dissecting every frame of the teaser, The piano note, the heartbeat, the hidden reflection in the corner that some believed was a mirror showing 7 silhouettes instead of 2. Was it coincidence? Or a message? In a quiet studio corner, Taehyung scrolled through the fan reactions. Some made him smile, theories about VJK being a love letter to BTS's legacy, others predicting a full reunion album. But one post stopped him cold. It was a screenshot from an old 2018 interview, and it, he had said, "If one day Jungkook and I sing a song that represents our growth, I want it to carry the same feeling as when BTS first began, the same heart." The caption below the fan post read, "Maybe this is that day." Taehyung's eyes softened. He hadn't remembered saying that, at least not until he saw it again. He turned to Jungkook, who was adjusting the sound levels at the mixing desk. "Do you remember what we promised that night?" Taehyung asked quietly. Jungkook paused. "Which night?" "Before the tour ended. When we said if the world ever changed, we'd find a way back." Jungkook leaned back in his chair, thinking for a moment. Then, slowly Jungkook leaned back, his eyes distant. For a long moment, he didn't say anything. The hum of the studio equipment was the only sound between them, soft, constant, grounding. Then he nodded slowly. "Yeah," he said. "I remember. We were on the rooftop in Hong Kong. After the concert." Taehyung smiled faintly, the memory flickering in his eyes. The night had been humid, the sky cloudy but glowing with city lights. The members had just finished one of their most emotional performances. Everyone was exhausted, physically and emotionally. Yet no one wanted to go to sleep. He remembered Jungkook sitting beside him, quiet as usual, staring out at the skyline. And he remembered saying, "If the world ever tries to silence us, promise me we'll keep singing. Even if it's just the two of us." That was the promise. Back then, it was nothing more than a passing moment, two tired souls comforting each other. But now, standing in this LA studio years later, those words carried a different weight. "I didn't think that promise would actually mean something one day," Jungkook murmured. "Neither did I," Taehyung replied. "But maybe this is why we're here." Bang PD, who had been quietly listening from behind the console, spoke up for the first time. "The world changed," he said softly. "And you kept singing. That's what matters." Taehyung looked at him, surprised. There was something in Bang PD's tone, a mix of pride and melancholy, like a father watching his sons grow up and move on. Outside, rain had started to fall over Los Angeles, tapping gently against the windows inside. The lights dimmed as Jungkook played the finished demo, the song they had just recorded together. The melody was hauntingly beautiful, a slow build of piano and strings, with their voices intertwining like they were made for each other. The lyrics spoke of distance, time, and reunion, of finding the way back home after being lost in the noise of the world. By the final chorus, even Bang PD had fallen silent, his hands folded under his chin. When the last note faded, no one spoke for several seconds. Then Taehyung whispered, This is the song we promised to make." Jungkook nodded, his eyes glistening. "Then let's make sure the world hears it." The rain outside grew heavier, the thunder rolling softly in the distance, almost like applause from the sky. That night, the studio lights stayed on until morning, because somewhere between memory and music, the promise had finally been kept.